For Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. My question is to the Premier. Today, students across Ontario will be walking out of their classrooms for a very simple reason. They want the Premier to know that they are going to fight for their future. The future the Premier has planned for them means fewer classes.
I apologize to the member for Davenport. Stop the clock. The government side will come to order. The point of privilege has been addressed. The ruling has been made. Let's move on. Apologize to the member for Davenport. The member for Sault Ste. Marie will come to order. Start the clock. Once again, the member for Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The future the Premier has planned for them means fewer classes in the arts, fewer classes in the skilled trades, fired teachers, larger classrooms. And that is not something they're going to accept lying down. What does the Premier have to say to students who are already tired of being told to expect less for their future?
Premier.
We're being told that by the NDP.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, this isn't about class sizes, I'll tell you. This is about the union bosses telling the teachers and the students what to do. Our teachers have a responsibility to the parents. They have a responsibility to the students to make sure that they stay in the classrooms and teach the students. We know that the grade 6 students, 50% of them are failing math. Maybe they should keep them in the classroom to teach them more math. Maybe the teachers should focus on learning math themselves, because we know 1/3 of those teachers can't pass the same grade 6 math test as they're giving the students. We saw what happened under the Liberals. We saw what happened with the big union bosses when they, well, I guess there's no Liberals in here. I guess the union bosses.
Premier will take a seat. Premier will take a seat. Yeah, we can't make reference to the absence of members. Stop the clock. Once again, I'll remind all members, we don't make reference to the absence of members when they're not in the House, for obvious reasons. Is he still at time? Yeah. Okay, start the clock. The Premier has a few more seconds to wind up.
Our focus as government, through you, Mr. Speaker, is making sure that we aren't on the lowest tier in the entire country. When it comes to grade 6 math students. Grade 6 math students should be at the top tier, not 50% failing math.
Here, here. Thank you. Supplementary. Member for Davenport again.
I'm going to continue with my question, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to continue with my question to the Premier. It is not just students raising concerns. School boards are warning the Premier that his plan will have disastrous consequences for our students and their futures. Boards in Peel, Toronto, Hastings and Prince Edward have written to the government. Today, the Limestone Board in Kingston and Frontenac warns increasing average high school class size will have, and I quote, dramatic and harmful effects on students and staff. They say as many as 80 teachers could lose their jobs in that board alone. Why is this Premier ignoring these warnings?
Premier.
Again, through you, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, and it's not about class sizes, because we will have the lowest class size in the entire country. You look at BC, has 32 a class, Quebec has 32. You look at Alberta, Saskatchewan, PEI, they have no cap. We're proposing 28. We will still be the lowest in high school anywhere in the entire country. Our focus is to make sure we focus on literacy, on math, the skills that are going to help these students, the students up there, the students back there, to actually get a job when they come out, use the math skills, not ignore the math skills, not get bullied by a bunch of union bosses at the teachers union. Let's start focusing on the students and stop using the students as a bunch of pawns, because that's what the union bosses are doing right now. It's absolutely shameful that they're using our students for a bunch of pawns.
Members, please take their seats. Restart the clock. Final supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know what's shameful? What's shameful is that response from this Premier and the creative math he's
Government
using
side,
to come up with this fiction about class sizes. Boards are also noting that the government's plan just will not work for their students. Under their new plan, this government says students must complete 4 mandatory online courses to graduate. But in a letter to the government, the Hastings and Prince Edward District School Board has said, "We know that in many areas of our school board, students are unable to access reliable internet service and/or transportation to an accessible location." I'm sure this is something that the House Leader would have already passed on to the Premier, but how are students supposed to complete online courses if they don't have online access, Mr. Premier?
Premier.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, when the students are in the classroom, they're going to learn to make sure that they understand math skills. Every single job you go into, you have to understand. I'll tell you a story, Mr. Speaker. Before I got into politics, I had a university graduate come by. I was interviewing this person out of the blue, and I've never done that. Out of the blue, I said, "What's 7 times 7? Wouldn't you believe they look around for their phone to calculate 7 times 7? A person that graduated from university doesn't understand the basic timetable? It's unbelievable. But I have an idea. Through Bill 48, we're actually getting new teachers to make sure they focus on math skills. I have an idea. Why don't we test all the teachers rather than just the new ones on learning how to deliver math?
Members will take their seats. Order. Order. Start the clock. Next question.